How you doing, Cyclone fans? Welcome back to another edition of our Chatting Cage interviews as we get ready for the 2024 season on Coney Island. I'm Justin Rock, the voice of your Cyclones, joined alongside now the manager of your 2024 Brooklyn Cyclones. That is Gilbert Gomez. Gilbert, how's everything going down in Port St. Lucie? Thanks so much for taking the time.
No, thank you for the invitation. Thank you for having me on your space. And no, man, so far so good. Guys are getting ready. We're getting ready to, travel up north and looking forward to start a very exciting season.
Now, I know there's been a lot of changes within the organization, at least in terms of a leadership standpoint, a new president of baseball operations, new people involved with the player development side of things. For you, as someone who's been a coach and a player in this organization for a number of years, has there been any differences you felt this year between maybe last year or last number of years spring training and this year? And what's it been like getting involved with everybody that's new in the organization?
Definitely a lot of new faces in terms of the team, but, guys or people that have been involved with baseball for a long period of time have impacted a lot of players on their way, on their way to the big leagues and on the development side of things. So really, really excited working alongside them over this spring, and definitely main thing is to get guys healthy, get guys ready for the season, get coaches to acclimate to each other.
Now, you had an awesome but busy offseason this year. You had a chance to manage for Tigres del Licey in the Dominican Winter League. What was that experience like? And obviously, getting that opportunity to advance all the way to the Caribbean Series in Miami must have been an awesome experience as well.
Those experiences only help us or help me become a better coach, having to deal with different kind of baseball with different kind of players, older players, guys that are playing, to win it every single day, and very experienced baseball players. So definitely gave me a different perspective of how to, handle different players. But very exciting and happy that things went the way it went.
Where do you feel that experience this past winter is going to help you coming back to the Mets organization and coming to Brooklyn?
No, definitely winning is something that we want to take a lot of pride in within the Mets organization. We do want to win in every level that we are. Definitely, the main thing is to develop the guys with development on a winning atmosphere and a winning environment. I think it's going to be very useful when I have to sit down and talk with different guys from different backgrounds.
Now, one of the other cool things is you became the second youngest manager to ever win a game in Caribbean Series history. And how cool is that for you as someone who was born and raised in the DR to have this small part of the history that is now the Caribbean Series in LIDOM?
No, for sure. I've always said that I feel blessed. I know that it's not I'm a baseball follower. I've been watching baseball and, following the history of baseball for a long time. So being able to be in such a cool place in history, I think it shows a lot of like what I've been able to bring to the game, but also the people that I've had around me. That's nothing that I've been doing on my own. It's having a lot of different coaches, a lot of different guys with experience helping me out on my way up.
Now, you've been a coach in the Mets organization for a number of years now. You mentioned a lot of different people having a big impact on you and your development, not only when you were a player, but as a coach now. Who are some of the biggest people that you feel have had an impact on how you manage the game and how you've helped coach players throughout the years?
And it's such a long list, man. Like we can go, on and on. Like just from the beginning of my career, like, guys like Kevin Morgan, Lamar Johnson, that was the hitting coordinator. Kevin was the field coordinator back in the day. Luis Rojas was a guy that I was able to play for him and then coach next to him on his way out to the big leagues. My brother, Jose, who's a GM, was a GM in LIDOM for Escogido. Also, we were able to, he was able to give me the first opportunity in coaching in winter ball when I became a coach. So many guys, man. Jose Harris, another guy that I was able to coach with. Most recently, Louis Rivera, which was a manager for Brooklyn a couple of years ago, a guy that I was able to know when I was, growing up during the season, throughout the season.
Now, you've not only had the opportunity to represent your country in the Caribbean Series, you also had the opportunity to represent your country in the Olympics as well. You were the hitting coach and the third base coach for the Dominican Republic team during the Tokyo Olympics. What was that experience like, getting a chance to go over there and represent your country in the Olympic Games?
Unique is something that doesn't happen a lot. I had the chance to go out there, and again with Hector Borg, which is the manager of that team, and then was became my bench coach in Licey for this year. Like, it's another guy that I have really high on the list of people that have impacted me that I kind of missed it when we talked about earlier. But it was unique, man. Like the fact that, becoming the first team sport Dominican team that win a medal, doing it, on our pretty much our prize game, which is baseball, and on a game that doesn't happen a lot in terms of like the Olympics. It's something that forever we will be cherishing. My motto has always been like stay present and take things day by day. I really don't think about, I want to get to this point, I want to get to that point. Things come and they present, and we attack it with the same mindset. And thankfully, we've been able to be in such cool places like Tokyo, and the experience was really incredible.
Now, you've been in the Mets organization for a long time. As we said, you played in this organization for 7 years. What do you remember from your playing days in the organization with the Mets? And are there any specific memories and moments that stand out?
And a lot of cool memories, man, especially like just hanging out with the guys and being on clubhouses and, sharing locker rooms and sharing, playing time with a lot of guys that, whether they made it to the big leagues or not, like those, I feel like those relationships are there forever. And then, just having the memories of like really good games. It's something that I feel like what makes me come into the ballpark every single day is the fact that I already lived that process of like, playing the game and getting to a clubhouse early and leaving the ballpark late. So that schedule is already ingrained in me, like taking the bus rides and being in locker room with the guys. So it's something that kind of like built my foundation of the coach that I became.
I was going to say, it's got to be a great benefit for you as someone who's gone through the grind of minor league baseball and know what it's like. It's got to help you relate to your players and your staff because you were in their shoes not too long ago.
Yeah, you gotta show empathy, man. This game is hard, and if you show to the player that whatever they're going through, you already went through the same thing, and whether you were able to make it out of there or not, like you understand what they're going through in terms of like not only the game but also like on a mental side of things. I feel like it helps you kind of like connect with the guy better. You're not gonna have all the right answers. You're not gonna have all the right like adjustments for them. But I feel like the empathy and like, hey man, I was there. I've been there. I've been on an 0 for 20 where you hit the ball right on the nose and it's right at somebody, and you feel like every time you go to the box, you're already down with 2 strikes, or like you're a pitcher, every blooper falls. You can't make any play. Like those guys, there's not a single player in baseball that has not gone through those things, and us as coaches are no different. So the fact that I was able to do it not too long ago kind of like helps me connect with the guys.
You have a very big baseball family. Your brother Dario was in the Mets organization last year. I think I called his games when he was playing in Johnson City in the Appy League a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And then your another brother Hector is also a baseball reporter that's covered a lot of your career as well. What's it been like growing up in such a big baseball family?
No, man, it's a blessing. My dad has always been a fan of the game, and he wanted us to have the same passion for the games since such a young age. He didn't play professionally, but he used to play like amateur, and like before he actually became older, he used to be a pitcher. So like it's one of those things that it's coming from generation to generation, and then like being able to share so many stories. And like, for example, when I was in the Caribbean World Series, my brother was like on the press conference, like asking me questions, and like being on that podium with me. Like it's kind of like full circle because of all the things that not only him but like a family has gone through in terms of like just trying to be better every single day.
Last year, you were the manager of the St. Lucie Mets down in the Florida State League. What was that like, getting a chance to manage down there in the Florida State League, especially considering there are a lot of rules in the Florida State League with the ABS strike system that are a little bit different than some of the things you'll experience in the South Atlantic League in Brooklyn?
Definitely was fun. Being the first time that I managed on a professional basis, like it helped me grow a lot. It helped me learn a lot, not only from the players, but also like being around the other coaches and like figuring out what's the best way to develop these guys. In terms of the rules, man, like it's something that, they use the Florida State League to try some of those new rules, and like you have to be really flexible and adaptable. And it makes you do your homework, because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that your players know the rules as much as you do, or at least have an idea of those.
What are some of the philosophies you try and instill in your players as a manager? How do you want them to play? Are you trying to get them to be more on the aggressive side?
I think the biggest thing is just to be prepared and control what they can control. You know, there's so many things in baseball that you can't control. A lot of outcomes that are just going to happen that you can't really have any input on in terms of like what's going to happen at the end. But you know, posting up every day, playing hard, making sure that you're fundamentally sound. You know, playing for one another, and playing hard every day, and you know, mingling with the rest of the boys, and just going out there and try to be the hardest playing team in the game. I feel like that goes a long way.
It's going to also help players as well, in a sense, when they're relaxed and they're enjoying the company of their fellow teammates, their fellow coaches. It's got to make coming to work and coming to the office and to the ballpark every day that much more fun and that much more inspired to get better.
When you're as happy for everybody else's success as you are for yours, I feel like that goes a long way with, you know, not putting too much pressure on yourself as a player. That was something that I experienced when I used to play. So I feel like that's really something that we're trying to install into our guys, that, you know, at the end of the day, this is a team game. And the more we can buy into the team concept and just playing hard and playing to win with that winning mentality, your stats and your development is gonna be right there with it.
Final couple of days of spring training down in Port St. Lucie. What are you most excited about for this 2024 season, getting a chance to work in Brooklyn, New York City, and especially here on Coney Island?
Well, definitely the atmosphere. I feel like it's one step closer to what, you know, the guys really want to be, which is, you know, Citi Field, New York. The crowds are better than what we saw in PSL, the Florida State League, which I feel like the guys are gonna like it, and even coaches are. You know, it's kind of like better for you to show up and have a bigger supporting group. That's whether they're gonna love you or critique you. Like, it makes you be better.
Well, I know the players are excited to have you as a manager in 2024 on Coney Island, and we can't wait to welcome you, your wife, your daughter, and your family to Coney Island and Maimonides Park for an amazing 2024 season with the Brooklyn Cyclones. Your manager, Gilbert Gomez, thank you so much for taking the time. Please travel safely up to Brooklyn, and we can't wait to have you here for the start of the season on April 5th and opening day here at home on April 9th.